Hello soulmates, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, you are going to be learning how to eliminate the zip bulge on a dress. The purpose of this class is to teach you how you can remove the basic darts that will eliminate the zip bulge. Now we are going to be making a princess dart dress, but the focus is on the back bodies. That is why you are seeing these back bodies here. The purpose is to show you how you remove the three basic darts. There are three basic darts that when you remove, you will not have issue with your zip. Your zip will not form those lumps or bumps at the back. So we are going to remove three darts. You will be learning how to remove three darts. The nipple line darts. This is your nipple to nipple line dart. Then the next dart is your zip dart. If you look at this picture, this was the initial zip line. The blue line here and this black line is the initial zip line. But when we now remove 1 inch from the waist, the zip line shifts to the front, and this is our new zip line. So if you look at this, it is not straight, but it is slanting. Then you are going to learn how to remove the waist dart on the upper bodies, the back upper bodies, and to remove another waist dart on the skirt. These are the three basic darts that if you do not remove them on your dress, you will never have a flat back or a smooth curved back. So if this sounds like what you want to learn, just stay tuned and you will see how these darts are eliminated to give you a perfect fit. So we'll be making a princess dart dress, but the focus is on the back. So these are the measurements we will be using. The shoulder, my shoulder is 15. I'll be using my measurement. My shoulder is 15. Always know that the shoulder is always divided by 2. My shoulder is 15. My bust is 40. Waist is 37. Under bust is 34. Hip is 48. Under bust circumference. Waist, these are measurements round the body. So these measurements, the bust, the waist, the under bust, and the hip are always divided by 4. But the shoulder is divided by 2. So these are my measurements. Now I want you to pay attention to the shoulder to waist front and the shoulder to waist back. The shoulder to waist in front is always 2 inches longer than the shoulder to waist at the back. So my shoulder to waist, which is also called half length, my half length in front is 17 and my half length at the back is 15. So when you see shoulder to waist, it also means half length. So the front is 17 while the back is 15. So I'll be showing you how you can manipulate the dart, and the back will now align with the 15 at the back will align with the 17 in front. Okay, now we are going to be drafting out our pattern. So the first thing you need to do, or you need to know, is the amount of fabric you have to fold. When you want to cut out, whether directly on fabric or on you are drafting a pattern, you use the widest part of your body to determine the amount of fabric you are going to use. So here, the widest part of our measurement, this is the upper part of our gown. The widest part of our body is the bust, which is 40. So 40, you add your 2 inches allowance. If you are using 2 inches allowance, then you are going to add your 2 inches dart to the 40. That's already 4. So personally, what I do is I will add 5 inches and fold my fabric. The widest part of your body plus 5 inches. That is the amount of fabric you are going to fold. And mind you, our measurement is divided into 4. So we are working on fold. So here is the starting line, which is our shoulder line. To make it short, I've already drawn the line. This is our shoulder line. This is our shoulder to nipple line. This is our shoulder to under bust, and our shoulder to the waistline. So the next thing you're going to do is to insert your shoulder measurement. Your shoulder measurement is divided by 2. So my shoulder is 15 divided by 2 is 7.5, 7.5. So you take your shoulder slant. Most of the times I take 0.75 to 1 inch. So you take your shoulder slant. Then at your shoulder slant, from that point, you insert your armhole measurement. Your armhole divided by 2. Then you extend the line, the armhole line. Then this is our shoulder slant. Then you're going to decide your neck width and neck depth. So here it's a thing of choice. what kind of neckline do you want to do? So for me, I'm going for 3 by 4. 3 by 4. Then I will now slant my shoulder. After then, I'll create my neckline. This is my neckline. Then you come to your armhole and divide it by 2. So my armhole divided by 2 is 4. That's the middle point. At the middle point, you come in by 1/2 inch and you create your armhole curve. You create your armhole curve. The next thing you're going to do is your nipple to nipple. It's also called your butt span. You're going to determine your butt span. So my nipple to nipple is 4. You also mark it down and you draw a line to meet it up. This is my nipple to nipple. So the next thing you're going to do is at the nipple point, you are going to go down by 0.75 to 1 inch. The purpose of this is to blend. By the time you remove your dart and you create that curve, it will blend. That's the main reason. You go down by 0.75 or 1 inch. Then you remove your dart. I'll remove 1 inch on both sides. 1 inch on both sides. And you do the same thing down, 1 inch on both sides. So you're going to create this curve to meet this point we mark here. Then at this middle point, is either you go up by 1/2 inch or you measure 4 inches down, which is the same thing, which is the same measurement we got here. This is 4 inches down. Is either you mark from 4 inches down and remove your armhole dart, or you go up by 1/2 inch. So what I do is to go up by 1/2 inch. From that point, that middle point, I went up by 1/2 inch, and I'm going to create my princess dart line. So this is my princess dart line to meet this place that I went up by 1/2 inch. So now we are going to remove our armhole dart. So we are going to remove just 1 inch. Personally, what I do is just 1 inch. So I will just mark 1 inch down. And I will still use the same ruler to blend it up. But this time around, as I'm blending it, I will extend it. So what we have removed here, we are going to replace it here. So personally, what I do is I will measure from this point to this point. Then I will hold it there and I now create that curve. From here, I will now recreate my new armhole. So this is my new armhole. So this is what is going out. So when we come down here, we have created our princess dart. At this point, most times you see people curve it the same way. I don't do that because it's going to point. So what I do is, at this point, for the center front, I will take my ruler and now draw this line to blend with the upper part. So let's draw it. So for the center front of our princess dart, we are not going to create the curve on this side because it's not going to be straight. You create a curve on the side, but on the center front, you draw this line straight to meet up with this marking. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to insert our divided body measurement. So our bust is 40. You're going to start from the armhole and you're going to mark your 40. You also mark it on the shoulder to nipple line. That's 40. Then our under bust divided by 4 is 8.5. This is 8.5. Remember that you took 2 inches out here, so you're going to replace those 2 inches. Then our waist divided by 4 is 9.25. What I do here is, for a perfect fit, instead of inserting my divided waist measurement, I will extend my under bust measurement down to this point. This will give you a perfect fit. Sometimes we insert our waist measurement at this point, and by the time you sew the dress, you keep reducing and matching and reducing it. I've had that experience. That's why I'm explaining. So ideally, this is supposed to be the waistline, but the distance between the under bust and this waistline is not much. So to prevent all those sagging at the waist, just extend the same measurement to this waistline. So this is 8.5 plus 2 inches. And then you mark it up. Then you are going to add your sewing allowance. Your sewing allowance depends on what you want, 1 inch, 2 inch. So I'll be adding just 1 inch. I'll be adding just 1 inch. This is not a standard. So this is it. Now we are going to remove our bust, our side dart. They call it French dart. This is to create room for the breast, number 1, and to meet the back length. You know, I told you our shoulder to waist is 17 in front, but the back is 15. So the back will have to align with the front. So if our shoulder to waist here is 17 and the back shoulder to waist is 15, you will have to remove your dart such that the front will align with the back. So the 2 inches short, we are going to remove it on this busts, the side dart, and then the front and the back will blend together. So we've inserted our body measurement. So we're also going to extend this point by 1 inch. Then you're going to go from here. I will mark 1/2 inch up and 1.5 down. Let me go over that again. This is a princess dart, and we are going to remove a bust dart or a side dart, or some people call it French dart. But we are going to remove a dart of 2 inches here. The purpose of it is to create room for the breast to fit in. That's number 1. Number 2 is for the back bodies and the front bodies to align together, because the front is always 2 inches longer than the back. Why? Because of the breast. So the back length is 15 and the front length is 17. So the excess of 2 inches on the front bodies is what we are going to remove on this line to align with the back. So let's remove it. I marked 1/2 inch up and 1.5 inch down. That's 2 inches. The reason why I marked 1/2 inch up is because this is close to the armhole. So I did that so that it will not tamper with the armhole. So let's mark it. So this is what we are going to remove. Just that you will understand. So these are the darts we are going to remove. Under bust, the armhole, and the side dart, which is also called the French dart. So let's go ahead and cut out our pattern. So we're cutting it out now. So before we cut this out, let's remove So I personally, I don't cut it and throw it out. I will cut it and then align it back like this. And then use a sellotape to gum it. So I'll be using a sellotape You can see, you can equally cut it and throw it away, but because I want to gum it and I want it to stay firm, I will just raise this one up so that it will overlap. Then I will now use the sellotape to gum it, just to stay in one place. So before you cut this out, as you can see, that the removing of the dart, this line is no longer aligned. So what you're going to do is to extend this particular line up. They no longer align. So from here, just extend it up to make it straight. Then cut it out. So we are done with the front, our princess dart. So let's go to the back piece. So this is our back piece. I have drawn this line. This is the zip line. This is our armhole line. The same measurement we took on the front is what we are going to take at the back. Our shoulder is 7.5. You go down with your shoulder slant. Then you do the same thing that we did on the front. I use pencil here just to trace it out, and then you people will understand because we've already done it in front. So this is our armhole. So for the back, the length is 15. Our shoulder to waist is 15 inches. Shoulder to waist for the back is 15 inches. My shoulder divided by 2 plus my armhole slant. In the front, I use 3/4. So at the back, I'm going to use 3. Sorry, it's away from the camera. At the back, I'm going to use 3/1/2 inch. I'm going to use 3/1/2 inch. It depends on the color you want to do. So the color I want to do, that is what I want to use. So I'm going to like create (3/2 inch). So at the back, we are going to remove 3 darts. This is how to prevent the back bulge. So the 3 darts, let me explain again. The 3 darts are to remove the back bulge, or some people call it back bump, where your zip will be folding at the back. So just take note of that. We're going to remove 3 darts. The first dart we are going to remove is the zip dart. This back dart at the zip. So we are going to remove 1 inch. This is our zip line, but the zip line is straight and it's going to create a back bulge where your zip will be folding. So we are going to remove 1 inch downwards towards the waist on the zip. So here we'll mark 1 inch and then extend this line to meet the shoulder line. This is our first dart at the back. So we are now going to create a new zip. Let me use another marker so that you guys will see. So we are now going to, the 1 inch zip allowance, we are now going to create a new zip allowance. The zip allowance, I left just 1 inch. You can leave it as 2 inches. You can leave it as 3 inches. It's a thing of choice. So this is our new zip allowance. You remember it was straight. So we have removed 1 inch from the down part. So we are now going to blend it all, just for you guys to understand. So this is our new zip line. After removing the zip dart. So the next dart you are going to remove is the dart at the waist. We are going to remove 1 inch at the waist. So usually you get your nipple to nipple to get it, but for me, my nipple to nipple plus 1 inch, that is what I use to remove the dart. So my nipple to nipple is 4 plus 1 inch is 5. So this is where I'm going to mark my 5, and then I'm going to mark and then I will now, this is the second dart. Now the third dart we are going to remove is the waist dart. This waist dart is very, very important. If you don't remove it, it will contribute to the back bulge. So even at the back, we are going to remove 1 inch. So at this point, you are going to mark 1 inch. Don't start marking it at the zip line. Start it from here, and then you are going to blend it. From here, you begin to insert your body measurement. The shoulder slant. This is our shoulder slant. Then our armhole. The back armhole is always wider than the front armhole. So at the back, we don't go in by ½ inch. You don't do the way you did the front one. We don't do like that. So now you're going to insert your measurement. So my bust is 40 divided by 4, that's 10. I mark my 10. Then my waist, which is my under bust, I use the same measurement, 8.5 plus 1 inch, that allowance, that is 9.5. Then you add your sewing allowance, your 1 inch sewing allowance. 1 inch, 2 inch is a thing of choice. You add it. So remember, we took out 3 darts. The waist, the darts at the waist. This is the second dart, and the other dart is the zip dart. So we are going to move to sew it so that you people will see the outcome. So now let's cut. Let's go ahead and cut out. So it's cut. So this is our piece that we've cut. So let's put them together and see. Now you see that the front bodies, the same length we have here is the same measurement, the same length. So the front is 17, the back is 15. But because we have removed the side darts, you can see that both the front and the back, they have come to align together. This is the end point of emphasis, because you see a lot of people cut back and front the same length. And that's why you see their half length is lower. It doesn't lap on the body. So if you use this method, you will see that the back will lap on your body very well. In front, we removed 3 darts. At the back, we remove 3 darts. In a nutshell, you can see that we have removed 3 darts on the back and 3 darts in the front. The armhole, the under bust, the side bust. Then even at the back, we remove from the zip, we remove this one, and then we remove the dart at the waist. So let's go ahead and cut the skirt. Then we'll go and sew the dress, and you will see the fitting of the dress. Let's cut the down part. Okay, so now we are going to cut the down part of our dress. So this is the front piece. So I've already drawn, this is our waistline, our hip line, and the hemline. So for the front, it's very easy. We don't use that. I don't put that in the front of the skirt. I only put that at the back. So there are no darts. So what you're going to do here, you are just going to insert your waist measurement divided by 4 plus your zip allowance, side allowance, sorry. Then your hip divided by 4 plus the allowance. My hip is 48 divided by 4 plus 1 inch. I'm leaving just 1 inch. It's not a standard. Then when you now come to the knee, this is where my dress is going to stop. So I believe everybody knows how to calculate. That's why I didn't go into it. Your waist, your hip, and the hemline. So my hemline, how do you get this hemline? You subtract 2 inches from your hip to get your hemline. So my hip divided by 4 is 12. My hip is 48 divided by 4 is 12. So if I subtract 2 inches from 12, I'm going to get 10. So I'm going to put 10 here, insert 10 here, plus 1 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to connect. You are going to connect this. So when you are making it, here should blend to prevent this sharp. That's by the time you are cutting it and you are stitching it, you make sure that this place, you blend it. So the front is very easy. The skirt length, how did you get the skirt length? You remove the stop from the full length. So what is remaining, that is your skirt length. Then you insert your waist, your hip. Then at the knee length, how do you determine this knee length? You subtract 2 inches from your hip measurement. That's the divided hip measurement. My hip is 48 divided by 4 is 12. I now subtracted 2 inches from the 12. It gave me 10. So this is my 10 plus my sewing allowance. So let's cut it. Cutting of this is very, very easy. So we are done with the front. Let's go to the back. For the back also, I did the same thing, but the only difference is this, our zip. This is our zip line where we are going to hide our zip allowance. So you can leave 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inches for your zip allowance. So when you now come to this back piece, you remember that while we were cutting the bodies, we removed 1 inch from the zip. That 1 inch we removed from the zip. We'll call it the zip dart. So on this zip side too, you are also going to remove the same 1 inch. So this is the 1 inch. You are now going to blend it. So you are now going to create a new zip. I left 1.5 for my zip. So you're now going to create a new zip allowance. So this is our new zip allowance. We removed 1 inch. Then you are going to insert your waist. Now at the back, I add that. So you're going to put your waist plus your 1 inch that. So for whatever is your waist, you are going to put it plus 1 inch that. You find the middle point. That's where you remove 1/2 inch on both sides to create the dart. So this is just for you to understand. So this is our dart. Your waist plus your 1 inch dart. That is what you're going to insert here. So you're going to insert our hip. Our hip is 12. My hip is 12 plus 1 inch. Then you do the same thing at the back. For the back, you remember we removed 2 inches from the 12. That was 10. This is 10 plus also 1 inch sewing allowance. And then you are going to blend 1 inch sewing allowance. You are going to join the lines, I mean to say. Join the lines. Join the lines. Please, by the time you are cutting, you are going to blend all these places. Let them not be sharp. For now, we are just drafting it. So when you are doing it on your dress, you are going to blend it. So another thing you are going to do is you are going to remove contour the butt. You are going to remove 1 inch from the knee length. Then from here, you go down by 1 inch. Then you are going to blend it. You remember our zip allowance is 1.5. This is to create and give that beautiful and perfect shape. So this is our zip. Zip allowance, which was 1.5. If you watch, you will notice that I added only seam allowance on the side. So you remember to add your seam allowance at the hem and also at the waist. And before I finish, there's another dart you remove at the back. You are going to remove 1/2 inch on this back. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Thank God I remembered. So you are going to remove just 1/2 inch. Just 1/2 inch. It's part of removing the back bulge. So you are going to just put your ruler and mark it. You are also going to remove this. This contributes to creating that bulge at the back. So let me cut it for you to see. I was about to cut this and I remembered, so we are going to cut it out. This was our starting line. I was supposed to cut it out on this starting line, but I removed 1/2 inch at the waist. So when you are now sewing, you add your sewing allowance at the waist, you add it at the hem. I only added it on the side seams, on the zip allowance. So this is our back body. So I'm going to get our fabric now and we'll cut it for you to see.